Hey blockheads, I'm going to introduce you to some of the tools that I like to have on hand to do minor rigging and rope work on the boat. Like most crafts, the most important thing is to have good measurements, so I always keep a small fabric tape measure with me. And this is important because splices are only at full strength if you have enough rope buried inside, so you can measure out your splice lengths with this, as well as making marks and measuring things on the boat. It's very handy. My favorite tool for cutting rope are these Kevlar fiber optic cable cutting shears. They last for a long time and make good clean cuts. You can use other things like razor blades or knives, but I found these to be the fastest and they stay sharp the longest. One of the basic tools is a Swedish fid. This is used for opening up holes in the rope, pulling rope through itself, and other tasks like that. The tip is also useful for picking apart strands of the rope when you want to cut in a taper, or again when you want to open up into the rope. Good tape is essential. You can use specialty sailing tape like this, or you can use regular Scotch tape, but the important thing is do at least a wrap and a half, and I like to leave a little tail of folded over tape that makes it easy to tear off, both on the rope when I'm taping it and on the roll. For splicing, there's two ways to do it. One involves using a fid to push, and the other one involves using this rope puller to pull the rope through. The rope puller you insert into the rope and then poke it out of the rope. Tuck your splice tail in there and then pull it through. With the fids, you'll put the rope in here, the part you're splicing, and you'll bury it in and push it through. So push or pull, the process is a little different, but the result's the same. Always have a Sharpie on hand. You can use this for making marks on your lines and also for marking your splices before you pull them through. And lastly, have a good quality whipping twine and a needle and a spare for doing your whippings and markings and stitching splices. So talking about splicing and rigging tools, one question that comes up is why do you have different size needles? In our splicing kits we always have a small needle and a large needle. The small needle is smaller in diameter and shorter in length, and it's easier to push through a rope. The large needle is a little harder to push through a rope, but if you're ever using a needle on a spliced rope which gets really stiff, or a very large diameter stiff rope, you might find that you can push on a needle so hard that if you're using a small needle, you can actually bend it. So I always use the small needle first, and if I think it's going to bend or break, that's when I'll switch to the bigger needle. So these are Special Sailmaker's needles. They're quite strong and stiff. They have a broad head point which is kind of shaped in a triangle, and then they've got a, compared to hand sewing needles, they've got a much tougher eye on the back side. You may see some bosons and riggers using a leather palm. What that is, it's a piece of leather that fits across the palm of your hand, and it's got a nice hard spot here so you can push the needle through. What I do instead is sometimes I'll use a mallet or the side of a hammer to tap the needle through, and then the most effective thing I've found is to use a plier to pull the needle through, because you can get leverage and lift the needle through the rope like that. So I hope you enjoyed learning about some of our rigging and splicing tools. Thanks for watching, blockheads.